Unforgiveness versus unforgettable, a necessary separation. 1. Memory is not moral failure. To remember is human. To forget is neurological chance. Unforgettability is not a choice. Unforgiveness often is. Some events imprint themselves permanently because of trauma, magnitude,
consequence,
symbolic meaning, firsts, losses, victories, betrayals. A fiercely fought battle, a humiliating injustice, or a life-altering betrayal may be unforgettable without being unforgiven. Memory does not automatically imply resentment. 2. Unforgiveness is an active posture. Unforgettability is a passive outcome. Unforgiveness equals refusal to release emotional ownership of an offense. Unforgettable equals inability to erase an experience from memory. One is an attitude. The other is a mental imprint. You can remember vividly without nursing bitterness, just as you can forgive sincerely without forgetting the lesson. 3. Responsibility does not lie solely with the injured. The earlier narrative subtly shifts moral burden onto the wounded party. That is incomplete. When harm occurs, the offender bears responsibility for the injury. The injured bears responsibility for response. Memory belongs to neither party. It belongs to reality. To ask who is more to blame, without accounting for severity, intent, repetition, and repair is ethically shallow. Some wounds were never acknowledged, were never repaired, were never apologized for, are continuously reopened by the offender's behavior. In such cases, labeling restraint or guardedness as unforgiveness is unjust. 4. Forgiveness is not a moral tax imposed on victims. There is a dangerous cultural tendency, especially in moral, religious, and motivational discourse, to romanticize forgiveness while trivializing harm. Not all withholding of forgiveness is bitterness. Sometimes it is. Boundary setting, moral clarity, self-preservation, refusal to normalize wrongdoing. An unforgettable injustice does not become smaller because the victim is pressured to let go. 5. Unforgiveness is harmful, but so is forced forgiveness. Yes, chronic resentment corrodes peace, but forced forgiveness corrodes truth. Healing is not achieved by pretending wounds did not matter, equating memory with malice, demanding emotional absolution without accountability. Forgiveness that bypasses justice is not healing, it is suppression. 6. Final clarification. Unforgettable speaks to the power of an event. Unforgiveness speaks to the management of emotion. One can coexist without the other. Confusing them leads to moral misjudgment. Conclusion. An unforgettable experience is not a moral flaw. An unforgiven wound is not always a moral failure. Blame cannot be assigned an abstraction. It must be contextualized. Sometimes the problem is not an unforgiving heart, but an unrepentant injury that refuses to stay in the past. Your objection stands. The distinction matters. Benefits of a free heart without malice. A heart free from malice is not naive, weak, or forgetful. It is a disciplined state of emotional clarity in which resentment no longer governs thought, judgment, or action. The benefits are both personal and social, and they compound over time. 1. Psychological freedom and inner peace. A malice-free heart is unburdened by constant emotional agitation, without the need to rehearse past injuries. Mental energy is preserved for productive thought. Anxiety and rumination are significantly reduced. Emotional balance becomes easier to maintain. Peace, in this sense, is not silence of memory but freedom from emotional captivity. 2. Improved emotional health. Malice sustains chronic stress responses. Its absence allows lower emotional reactivity, better emotional regulation, reduced risk of bitterness, hostility, and depression. A free heart responds to situations as they are, not as echoes of old wounds. 3. Clear judgment and better decision-making. When malice is absent, decisions are guided by reason rather than revenge. Objectivity replaces suspicion. Wisdom is not clouded by personal vendettas. This clarity improves leadership, negotiation, and conflict resolution. 4. Healthier relationships. A heart without malice communicates without hidden hostility, sets boundaries without cruelty, allows trust to grow where trust is deserved. It neither punishes the innocent nor excuses the guilty. 5. Moral and spiritual integrity. Across ethical and spiritual traditions, freedom from malice is associated with a softened conscience and sharpened compassion, moral maturity, inner harmony, and self-respect. Letting go of malice is not absolution of wrongdoing, it is refusal to become morally distorted by it. 6. Physical health benefits. Sustained resentment has been linked to elevated blood pressure, weakened immune response, poor sleep quality. A malice-free heart often experiences improved sleep, lower stress levels, and better overall health. 7. Personal growth and forward momentum. Without malice, the past loses its power to dictate the future. Identity is no longer shaped by injury. Energy is redirected toward purpose and growth. Freedom from malice creates space for creativity, ambition, and renewal. Conclusion. A free heart without malice is not forgetful of injustice, nor blind to reality. It is a heart that remembers without being poisoned, judges without hatred, and moves forward without chains. In the end, freedom from malice is not a gift to others. It is a strategic, emotional, and moral advantage for the one who carries it.